We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Live right here, welcoming you to hour number 3, our third and final on this Thursday on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. One more hour to go and a live check-in from Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia. Keith Stewart will join us as round number 1 of the Masters is now officially underway. Should we get a leaderboard update early on this Thursday in the opening round? A couple of people at 2 under par, including 5, and a couple of Iowans. Noah Kent started his collegiate career, the amateur, who finished runner-up at the U.S. Amateur last summer. He's 2 under. Zach Johnson, the native of Iowa, he's 2 under. Chris Kirk, also 2 under. Aaron Rai, 2 under. And Nikolai Hogard, also at 2 under. DRS, were you watching any of the par 3 contests yesterday at Augusta?
No, I did not. It looked like it would be a lot of fun to play in, though, by the way. Like, that would be something that would be fun to compete in. It would be.
It's such a cool event because it's really carefree before the biggest major of the year in golf, arguably at least the first of the year. And you have the best players in the world that are acting as dads or friends or whatever, and they're hanging around with their kids who are running around in the replica caddy gear around Augusta. It's just a great time. Aaron Rai had his wife on the bag. She has one of the greatest golf swings I have ever seen. On number 9, she sticks it on the front of the green. Rai misses right. He had the worst shot of that pair. That will be bragging rights for a while, but Aaron Rai off to a great start today. He is 2 under par. The winner of the par 3 contest, Nico Echevarria, of course, you know what the curse is. No winner of the par 3 contest on Wednesday has ever won a green jacket. So
Isn't
not
that still
great
true, though?
for Echevarria. What?
Is that still true? Is that still true?
I think it's Echevarria. Yeah,
somebody won
Echevarria.
that.
He's 1 over through 6. So the curse lives right now. We talked about a couple of the marquee guys getting underway at 9:47 a.m. Eastern time. Joaquin Niemann birdied his opening hole at Augusta, a 33-1 price. By all reports, because you're really not watching Live Golf, he is absolutely tearing up the Live Golf Series this year. 1 under through his opening hole. And Donnie, in just about 10 minutes' time, Scotty Scheffler, the reigning Masters champ, underway here in 2025.
And how about Joe Heisman Highsmith after 7 holes plus 4, dead last right now in the Masters, hanging on that cut line as we start right away here. But yes, the bigger names get out there. The highlights will come through at this point. Excited to watch some golf this afternoon, no doubt about it. Let's go, Rory.
Cam Young, of course, a well-known name, not off to a great start. 2 over through 7. I've got Will Zalatoris with a top 20 ticket. He is 1 over through his opening 5 holes. Turn it around, Willie Z. And Nico Echevarria, 1 over through 6 as well. Colin Morikawa, even. He is underway. Billy Horschel, riding the high of his Florida Gators, winning a national championship. He is even through 1. And again, Joaquin Neiman, 1 under par as well. A lot to dive into, DRS. We'll do so with Keith Stewart in just a little bit. 16 guys underway, or 35 guys in total underway early at the Masters. 16 of them in red figures under par right now. So a pretty good start. By all accounts, weather today on this Thursday opening round going to be ideal. One of those days where you turn on your TV and you see how green can actually look at Augusta with the pink azaleas in full bloom, that especially here on the East Coast, where it's been like 35 and 40 degrees the last few days, really makes you jealous of early springtime in Augusta.
But by the way, did they change out the new song for the old song once again to get back to how it was supposed to sound? There's just anger out here. They're just running with it right now.
Yeah, so I was off all day yesterday, so watched a lot of Masters coverage. Of course, there was a lot of anger about Noah Khan covering Georgia, of course, made famous by, why am I blanking? Ray
Charles?
Help me out. Ray Charles, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
I think, right? It's got to be Ray Charles, Georgia on my mind. But it was Noah Khan's cover that came out with anticipation of the 2025 Masters that earned a lot of social media bullying.
Yeah.
So all that I heard, DRS, there was no Noah Khan, Georgia, leading into any Masters coverage yesterday on ESPN. I don't think they have gone back to the Ray Charles version, the classic. I don't think they have played the Noah Khan version, though, either.
I mean, the Georgia version of Ray Charles. I mean, what's next? Like the Masters goes to Indianapolis and completely ruins the tournament itself. I mean, let's get back to tradition. Tradition. Come on.
Of course, the 89th play.
By the way, did anybody ask for the remake? Like, who makes the decision? Like, you know what? Let's revamp it now. Let's bring it forward. Like, no, when nobody asks for it, don't change it. It's that simple, Ben.
Well said. Sometimes I think media networks sit down and they're like, well, we've been doing this for 13 years. We should probably do something different, right? No, there's no need for it. Classics are classics for a reason. Keep the same theme songs always. Don't get too creative. Don't get too far in front of your skis. Never change the March Madness theme song. Never change NFL theme songs. Never change Sunday Night Football's theme song. Just stay with the classics. Thank you. You know what else is a classic? Starting our third and final hour each and every day with a Fade the Public poll. We do that here on the early line. A lot of action today in the Fade the Public poll at SportsGrid on Twitter. Which April sporting event are you most interested in? April, a great month leading in to May with all that we will see continuing in postseason action. But here in April, the Masters, the NBA playoffs beginning, the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup postseason getting underway, and of course, exactly 2 weeks from today, the 2025 NFL Draft does start. Most of the betting public, because it is right here and right now at the Fade the Public poll, saying the Masters with more than 47%, the NFL Draft in second, 27% DRS.
Yeah, you know what? I faded the public truly because you know what? I hate the NBA, but I do like the NBA playoffs. I voted NBA playoffs at just under 10% as the most excitement you get. Why? Because I look at the NFL draft. I do like the draft, and if I'm an Eagles fan, it's 32nd is where they pick. I don't really bet the NFL draft at all, so it's really inconsequential. The Masters, I really do love. That would have been my second one, but it's only 4 days, right? It's not the entire length of the month that you're going to get. The NHL playoffs are great, but my Flyers stink, and until the Flyers are back in the playoffs, I don't really care about the NHL playoffs. So for me, going completely against the grain and back in the NBA, because I genuinely enjoy the NBA's product in the playoffs. Wow. I just think the regular season is absolutely horrendous. It would have been NBA playoffs for me, which I voted, close second for the Masters, playoffs and the draft way down that list for the NHL and the NFL.
Yeah, the public really is not a huge fan of the NBA, and any time that we put out these polls,
I like to hate.
I wonder what that says about the SportsGrid viewership, who follows us when they see the Fade the Public polls right now. I do agree, though, DRS.
By the way,
I think some of the NBA. Okay.
Yeah. I was just going to insert myself here in this with the NBA playoffs at this point. Like if we are judging this by like a couple hundred votes coming in, like there's no way that we should have like a playoff basketball show that deals with the NBA. Like the people don't want that. So why would they have it there? We need more golf shows. We need more NFL draft shows. No way we should be leading any telecast with any special forces here, weekends or days, with an NBA playoff show. That's what the people are saying right now. Just look. It wasn't me. I didn't vote all that way. Not me.
I saw that sly grin on your face, and I knew something was going to be said by DRS. I wasn't entirely sure where it was going.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good bit right there. All right, enough of that. The public in love with the Masters. How could you not?
Why
on
not?
This wonderful Thursday, opening round coverage live from Augusta, featuring Keith Stewart up next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 89th playing of the Masters Tournament now officially underway in round number 1 in 2025. Joining us live from the grounds at Augusta National Golf Club for a second consecutive day here on TEL, it is Keith Stewart. Keith, as always, we appreciate the time. Opening round now officially has begun at the 2025 Masters. What are you seeing so far early on this Thursday at Augusta?
Well, one thing's for sure, Ben, the last couple of years, and good morning to you guys here, and good morning to everyone watching on TEL. We have seen weather kind of plague this event. You remember just a year ago, we were delayed in the start because it was pouring rain, but we have 4 spectacular days set up for tournament competition. The weather right now, it's about 55 degrees. It was a little crisper than that when the old guys got out there this morning, the honorary starters, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Tom Watson. They hit their tee shots at 7:40 a.m., and then from there, they let the boys out to play, and this golf course is set up spectacular. It's going to reach 75 degrees today, and the wind is going to stay kind of calm in the afternoon. So the guys are pumped right now on the practice facility.
Keith, I heard a lot about, and again, weather conditions always are going to be important this week at the Masters, but a washout day of practice, who might that have affected? Because they're saying, like, if you were a veteran of the golf course, played there multiple rounds, you will be okay. Is that truly talked about where that washout day might affect some of the younger players in the tournament?
Well, a lot of the guys that are your debutantes, right? And everyone talks about no one's won as a rookie since 1979. So it's been a long, long time.
Wow.
And you're definitely at a disadvantage. But those guys have the opportunity to come in and get some work done on Saturday and Sunday as well. So it's not like they're just excluded to all your. They can only come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So some of those rookie guys come in a little bit early, or maybe once they are invited, they've already made a trip in the weeks previous, right? Now, it really all it affected were the patrons, because if you had a bucket list day on Monday and you were, asked to leave because of dangerous weather, then that's a big bummer. But for the guys, they basically play at this point. They train with about 9 holes a day of practice, and then their time there on the range and the other practice facilities. So not as much of an effect, other than the fact that, just being here for an extra day would be a lot of fun if it was your rookie trip.
So, Keith, there's a bunch of trends, of course, each and every year we get to Augusta National. As we watch this early wave here to begin play at the 89th Masters in this early portion of the opening round, each of the last 6 winners, when the Masters has been contested in its usual time of year in early spring, have started in the early window and played in the late window on Friday, the early-late designation of their opening 2 rounds. Is that a trend you expect to continue in 2025? And if so, which of these golfers that we see on the course at the moment might it benefit most?
Well, just a couple minutes before we came on, Colin Morikawa, who's definitely one of the people that we're talking about, plus 1,600 on the board. He's out there, right? As we just come on the air, Scotty, JT, and the amateur champion, they have just teed off. But I'm going to go against that trend, Ben. And I know at Augusta National, that might be a little bit of heresy. But here's the thing. What we know about the weather is that we're going to get a little shower this evening, right? And the guys that tee off in the PM AM wave, they're going to get very little wind this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, they're going to get the softest conditions that they're going to get all week to score. And tomorrow afternoon, we expect wind in the 15 to 18 mile an hour zone. So Scotty, JT, Colin, the guys that are going off this morning, they're going to get that wind tomorrow afternoon, and they're going to get the firmest test for all 36 of their holes before the cut. Now, your Rorys, your Brysons, your Rahms, your Xanders, right? They're going off this afternoon. They're going to catch tomorrow morning. They're going to have 36 contiguous holes. I think that trend gets upended this year.
By the way, Keith, I love nostalgia. And no more nostalgic places in this country is Augusta, Georgia. They're playing at the Masters. Tell me about the vibes just walking around the golf course. And is it as great as it looks there that we see live on TV? What happens on a normal day, specifically a Thursday at the tournament, and what's to look forward to?
Well, Donnie, if you travel or you go to any busy place, if you're in New York City, right, everyone is always so anxious. Everyone is in such a rush all of the time. Everyone's got their head down in their phone. The culture here is a step back in time. And I know that sounds like kind of hokey to say that and everything, but it's so true. With no phones inside, everyone walks around in an orderly manner. People actually talk to one another. And believe it or not, they watch the golf. Because that's the only thing to do. They can't look at their phone. They're talking to one another. You come in, you stay in large groups, because if you get separated, how do I go find Ben and Donnie? I don't know where they are. I don't have any way to, there's acreage here. So what the most unique thing about this place is it is a total step back in time. If the 3 of us walked in and we were here to enjoy the golf tournament, we would put chairs down in one place where we want to sit later in the day. Nobody would touch those chairs. They would just leave them empty until we got there. Say we wanted to watch 16, the par 3, the famous par 3 later in the day. And then all morning we could walk around, take in Amen Corner. We could go to the concession stands, go to the merch tent. Everything is just so calm and orderly, and people are happy. For so many people, like I mentioned earlier, it's a bucket list to be here, especially during the practice round days. It's just actually, it's so refreshing that everyone has a smile on their face, and they're just so grateful to be here.
Ludwig Oberg talked about that before the tournament got started in his pre-tournament media availability, saying that because the patrons are not allowed to have phones, you feel a connection. You feel them really supporting when you are playing good golf. It's what leads to those famous roars around Augusta National. Ludwig will be in a group later this afternoon in a marquee spot, 1:12 p.m. Eastern Time, alongside Akshay Bhatia and Rory McIlroy. Of course, Keith, anytime that Rory takes the stroll down Magnolia Lane, he is asked one thing first and foremost. Is this the year you finally don the green jacket? So Keith Stewart, tell us, is this the week that Rory McIlroy completes the career Grand Slam at Augusta?
It's the most popular question we continue to get all week. The pundits here down in the media center. We've got to come up with a theory why Rory will or will not win. This is a 17th term. And I don't know, Ben. I honestly, I don't feel very good about his candidacy this year for a green jacket. I think that Rory is doing a lot of self-talk. I think there's a lot of, I'm treating this week like any other. It's not like any other week. It's not for you and I. It is not for anyone that gets the special opportunity to be here. So I'm not high on Rory. The group before him this afternoon has Xander. I think X marks the spot. But we'll know more tomorrow when I see you guys. Pleasure to come to you from Augusta National.
We will have you live tomorrow morning as well, Keith. We look forward to Friday after the opening round is done. Round 1 leader. Who is that going to be? What it means for the rest of the week at Augusta. Keith Stewart will tell you tomorrow. Enjoy opening round Thursday. More on the early line next.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They won the game, and a lot of people, I think, are, prematurely writing them off. Like, I heard a lot of people say they're not even making the playoffs this year.
What I give them credit for right now, Scott, I'm not going to pencil them to win the division yet. Let's see how they do. What I give the Red Sox credit for, and this sounds like silly, I give them credit for actually trying this year.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show.
Around Major League Baseball on this Thursday, here we go. And we start with a series that Donnie is paying great attention to. his Philadelphia Phillies on the road in Atlanta. Rubber match. The Braves won the first game in a much more high-scoring tilt than we expected, with Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale getting the start. Atlanta victorious 7-5. Last night, courtesy of a Trey Turner home run, his first of the year in the 9th inning in a key and crucial spot. The Phils respond, evening up the set through the first 2 games. Game number 3 tonight, Atlanta a slight favorite at home. Spencer Schwellenbach, off to a great start this year for the Braves, leads Atlanta out there as a -126 favorite. Jesus Luzardo on the other side for Philadelphia. Total 7.5. DRS, who wins the rubber match? Who wins the series?
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. It is. And you see the favorite there for the Braves. Let me just take a look because I think we had some different numbers earlier today. Okay, so -124 overnight, sits now at -126. This was as high as -130 to -140 a little bit earlier this morning because the buyback coming on the Phillies because Jesus Luzardo has been really good in his first couple starts here through around 50 or so batters on the season. Schwellenbach is a strikeout guy as well. So you look at the total itself. Opened up at 8, dropped to 7.5. I do agree with that. These teams will have the opportunities to score runs like they did last night, but the opportunities weren't cashed in with actual runs. Disappointing me in the first 5 innings, needed a couple runs. They stranded 14 combined batters. But if we're being optimistic about this game, the Phillies lineup is much better than the Atlanta Braves. Outside of Trey Turner and Alec Boehm, who haven't hit right-handed pitching all that well, the rest of the lineup has done extremely well and also includes a lineup that typically has a lot of strikeouts in it, have done very well against right-handed pitchers and not striking out. That'll be key. Put the ball in play as opposed to striking out with Schwellenbach, making those positive outs as opposed to not moving the runners along could be the key. But again, Luzardo comes over to the Phillies, sort of a reclamation project. In Major League Baseball, coming into the big leagues, he had high expectations. Is he now reaching them? Well, granted, only 2 starts and 46 batters. We'll find out. But here's the key. The Braves lineup just isn't very good against left-handed pitching. 091, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and a couple guys there with some green numbers. That's the ISO power numbers versus lefties. I give the advantage to the Phillies. 67 degrees, warmer than it was yesterday. 4-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left field. I think the Phillies can take down the Braves because they're not playing good baseball, but I do look towards the under 7.5. I'm not so sure, Ben, we get 8 runs in this game with these 2 pitchers.
We've actually seen a decent amount of offense, as Donnie's point in this series, at least a decent amount of traffic on those base paths to try to take advantage of. We'll see how it pays off today in game number 3 of our 6-game MLB slate on this Thursday. That one in Atlanta, DRS, the only one that starts in the evening hours. Everything else, day baseball, afternoon baseball. That includes at Fenway Park, where the Red Sox are hoping to avoid a 4-game series sweep at home against divisional foe in the Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox have been quite streaky. They won their opening game of the year against the Rangers, then lost their next 4, then won their next 5 in a row, and now have lost the opening 3 of this set against Toronto. Boston, an ever so slight favorite, with Walker Buehler on the bump today, a total of 9 against Chris Bassett and the Blue Jays. Will Boston avoid the 4-game sweep at home?
48 degrees, and also you hear Walker Buehler's, and I'm like, ooh, let's get excited. Last year, 407 batters, he wasn't very good. A 201 ISO power number against and a weighted on base percentage of 358. Translate that into this season. Only 44 batters he's faced, but we don't see much improvement, Ben, based off of last year. 275 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 435, but he's a right-handed pitcher. This season, the Toronto Blue Jays haven't hit right-handed pitchers all that well. Andres Jimenez in the middle of that lineup, 39 at-bats for a 344 ISO power number. That's really good. Look at the rest of this lineup, Ben. 100, 053, 0, 133, 033, 038, 0, and 083. So if Walker Buehler is going to get right, maybe this is the lineup to do it against. And also from a Boston perspective, they've had some decent offense here. Bassett's a decent pitcher. Last year struggled a bit with lefties. This year struggling a little bit again with lefties. A lot of lefties in that lineup. Duran, Devers, Casas, Abreu, as well as Sable. So I'm looking forward to maybe a Boston Red Sox possible team total, but I'm not in love with them saying, Donnie, why don't you just take the Red Sox if you like that lineup? I just told you, I'm not all that in love with Walker Buehler the way he's been pitching so far this season. So maybe looking more offense in this game. 9 takes 10 to get the total. It could happen, but maybe a Boston Red Sox team total with some of those lefties or RBI props from those guys might make more sense.
DRS, the Sox in their weekend set against the Cardinals scored 36 total runs. They've got 4 so far combined in the first 3 games against the Blue Jays. Quickly here, Royals, Twins, ending of a 4-game set in KC, where the Royals have taken 2 of the first 3. Who wins today?
By the way, last year, Ober, Decent statistics. This year, 36 batters. It's red all over the place. So just looking at that as an early season handicap with the wind blowing 18 miles an hour crosswind, give me the Royals today. Let's go.
Yeah, KCA slight home favorite. Tom Vecchio next.
What an impressive debut it was for Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals. He ended up having the most strikeouts of anybody thus far in a Major League Baseball game this season. Buy or sell, George? Mackenzie Gore will be a top 15 fantasy baseball pitcher this season. Top 15. Buy or sell?
You know, these questions are made up by Sam Yarnell, our producer, man behind the glass here. Who's a Washington Nationals fan here? You ever get the feeling that he just made this where you have to say buy, all right? Because top 15? Yeah, I think he'll be top 15. Come on, Sam, make it top 10. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, I think he's got the upside to be that. Once again, he is a good pitcher anyway. Once a top prospect here, you're pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think the upside is there for him to be much better than top 15. Top 5 may be pushing it, but I think he'll be inside the top 10. So, yes, I am all on board the Mackenzie Gore train.
All right, yeah, I think that I am going to buy this too, man. I don't know. He's just, and again, it's not just that one start for me. I think I have the video somewhere. I was like literally sitting behind home plate for one of his starts in Palm Beach, and I was like, wow, like this guy's stuff looks really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think he's a potential Cy Young Award candidate. As George said, you're dealing with bigger markets and bigger names with LA and some of the other teams. Arizona's got some great pitchers too. But I think he's definitely in the mix. And look, do I think he's a top 2 guy? No. Do I think he's a top 15 guy? Yes. I'll buy that. As his season, I think, is going to be a special one for him.
Fantasy sports today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on this Thursday on the early line on SportsGrid. We now get the prop perspective from the man that is the jack of all trades and the home run prop king. That is TV Tom Vecchio of SportsGrid, bright and early with us on this Thursday morning. Tom, as always, we appreciate the time. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We have an awesome day. Like, it's not a massive day of baseball, but we have 3 different sports in action, plus the Masters getting started. I'm not here for any Masters talk, but let's get to it.
Wow. What
Scotty Scheffler, the reigning champ, by the way, on the course right now at Augusta, beginning his title defense, a par on number 1, teeing off as we speak on the par 5, hole number 2. Vecchio, what you are great at, though, that's the home run props. And before the year, we had a bet on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in what was supposed to be a prove it, pay me big money contract season. Well, the Blue Jays did pay him already, and Vladdy is still yet to hit one over the wall. As we look at the home run leaders in 2025 and their associated price to be the home run leader when all is said and done, of course, when Aaron Judge leads the bigs alongside Tyler Soderstrom for the most home runs so far with 6 dingers, he's going to be an odds-on favorite at minus 165. But when you have Judge in a minus money manner, Vecchio, does that allow some value elsewhere along the board in the first 2 weeks of this MLB season?
It does, shout out to Soderstrom. He's on my fantasy team this year, although I'm not going to be betting on him to win the, to lead the league in home runs. I think the answer, at least on that list, would be Kyle Schwarber, right? Donnie's guy, where we're getting him at a really good price. That's what it comes down to. And, maybe Judge grabs a few more and Schwarber falls behind. You get Schwarber closer to 20-1. Like, we know once June rolls around, like, that is Kyle Schwarber's month, and he goes through that stretch where he's like 11 home runs in the month. So be price sensitive with this, and I would say be willing to wait. Like, Judge is always going to be the favorite, but we could get other players at an awesome spot.
Yeah, looking at a couple of those, big bombers in there, it's fun. And again, we're talking about cooler temperatures in most of these games where they're being played. I can't wait to see some of these numbers once they start to elevate in the spring temperatures here. And also with 5 home runs, you see Tommy Edman. I mean, that guy seems like he is a plug and play every single day in that Dodgers lineup yesterday. And not Michael Conforto. Just wanted to get that out here in these streets. But as I digress, we'll get over to the World Series odds here for this season. The heavy favorites, the Los Angeles Dodgers at a plus 240 price, followed by the New York Yankees. When you look at some of these numbers, Tom, 2 weeks into the season, what pops out to you?
The Padres, their number really hasn't moved a whole lot, and they're off to a great start. I know they've just been, hit with a few injuries over the past few days. Merrill went to the IL, which is devastating to me, to lead the league in hits. We saw Cronenworth leave the game. We saw Tatis leave the game. So they're an awesome team, but we know that the Giants are also off to a great start, and the Dodgers are always going to be the favorite to win that division. So the path for the Padres is always going to be tough, but they have the talent to get it done, assuming that they get fully healthy, obviously, as the year goes on. But that's a great price to get the Padres at. And they're a team that's shown that they are willing to make moves. They went out and got Soto. Granted, it didn't work, but they have that aggressiveness to make those moves.
Yeah, they certainly do, Vecchio, and they will always add if they can. And their price has gotten so much better already in the opening 2 weeks, with the best record in the National League and a 10-3 mark. 33-1 before the year got started, just 2 weeks in. You see that number now on San Diego. Speaking of the start of this year in Major League Baseball, it is the very end of the regular season around the association. Every team in action tonight has just 3 games left. Every other team around the NBA, they only have 2 remaining. So game number 80 for basically everybody on this 5-game Thursday night slate around the association. And a huge one, Vecchio, in the grind city in Memphis between the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, for 2 teams trying to battle their way out, if possible, of a play-in tourney spot. Minnesota, an ever so slight favorite against Memphis, 1.5 in the spread, now minus 130 on the money line. You see some market movement there. Over under 232. It is basically a pick 'em tonight in Memphis. Who gets the dub?
I think the Timberwolves will ultimately come away with the win, but I do not expect this to be a high-flying game. I'm not going to say Memphis is a good defensive team, because they're not, but at least they've been playing somewhat better over this 3-game stretch. Granted, when those games against the Hornets, 1 win against the Heat, it's not some amazing offensive team, but they're at least playing a little bit better, and that's what they need ending out the regular season and, of course, heading into the playoffs. But specifically in this game, I like Anthony Edwards under 28.5 points, despite the fact that I think Minnesota comes away with the win. Ant is a player that he has a wide range of outcomes because he's a little bit volatile. The shot volume will always be there for him. But when you look back at his recent game log, we're seeing games where he goes 2 of 11 from downtown, 1 of 10 from downtown, 1 of 11, whatever it might be. The volume will always be there. And it can be a little bit scary to take an under on a player that's literally going to take 10, 15 threes. But I like that this game environment is going to be an intense physical, playoff type game. And that leads to Ant on the under. We will take the volatility on the under today.
We'll take a look at the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. This line's certainly on the move. So when you take a look at the opening number at 5, early this morning it was as high as 5.5. Now we're seeing a crash down in the marketplace to 3.5 as a favorite for the Pistons, which is something you're going to see over the final couple days of the season, where you're just waiting to see who the actual starting lineup will be. 225.5 is the opening number on the total. Now, as you see on the graphic, to 228.5. Any thoughts today on the Pistons and the Knicks for you, Tom?
I don't mind the Pistons today laying the points. We have to double check the news on Brunson, if he's going to continue to play, continue to be on a minutes limit, because I believe that they're locked into the 4 seed, right? Or the 3 seed, whatever it is. They can't catch Boston. They can't 3 seed. They can't fall down to the Pacers. So they don't have anything to play for. So Brunson coming back from the injury, will they get him out there for 20, 25 minutes, get him in the flow of things, but ultimately scale him back as the game goes on? That could leave an opening for the Pistons to cover.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thought, I think, Vecchio. Detroit, by the way, still booked as an underdog more frequently this year than as a favorite. But that has really changed since the All-Star break, as Detroit has solidified its spot as a playoff team. The Pistons could catch the Milwaukee Bucks, who currently sit with the 5 seed and a 2-game lead over Detroit. Milwaukee in action tonight at home as well against the lowly New Orleans Pelicans, and Milwaukee is a 14.5-point favorite. By the way, for that game between the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves, Minnesota an ever so slight favorite. Vecchio likes the Timberwolves to win. If that is the case, we're back to an even stronger logjam. Minnesota, Memphis, Golden State would all be 47-33 with just 2 games remaining to end out this final week of the regular season. Vecchio, let's talk some more Major League Baseball today and some of your plays for this Thursday. What gets your attention with this 6-game slate around MLB?
Yeah, let's go to Tampa. It's outdoors this year, and it's actually really nice hitting weather, which we can't say for this time of year for all stadiums. It's like 80 degrees, a little bit of wind blowing out. Rays are at home. They have a 4.2 or 4.19 implied team total. Really like this spot for them. And let's go to a classic Donnie play that we do on the baseball show, which is 2 players.
Let's go.
Each for an RBI. We just need one of them to come through. Brandon Lowe is at plus 210 for an RBI, and Jonathan Aranda is at plus 195. They're going up against Jose Soriano. Soriano's a good pitcher, and he's oftentimes the type of pitcher I described where he's not a big strikeout pitcher. He's never really going to get beat by the fly balls just because he's predominantly a ground ball pitcher. But because he's a ground ball pitcher, it's that like single walk, single double walk kind of thing where he's not pitching bad. We just see the runs start to pile up. So 210 for Brandon Lowe for an RBI is an awesome price.
Let's take a look here quickly on the ice. You take a look at the New York Rangers, got beat by the Flyers yesterday, taking on the Islanders. And Tom, one of the biggest Islander fans on the network. What's your thoughts on the game tonight?
Yeah, let's just go play it simple with the over. Like, these teams are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but they're both out. Let's just call it what it is. Neither of them are going to make it. Rivalry game. Let's get out there and have some fun. Let's score. Both teams have been bad on defense. Both teams are in the bottom half of the league in terms of goals allowed per 6 minutes in 5v5 situations over the past 2 or 3 weeks. We saw the Isles give up a bunch of goals to Nashville a couple days ago. The Rangers gave a ton of goals last night to the Flyers. It's a late season game. It's a rivalry, but let's get out there and score. They have nothing to play for.
Over 5.5, at least 6 goals to tickle the twine tonight. That's what Tom Vecchio is hoping for. NHL's regular season also nearing its close. Basically, every team around the National Hockey League, 5 games or fewer remaining. I think it's next Thursday.
17th.
Am I right?
17th. Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
A week from today.
Beautiful.
Hockey guy, Ben Stevens. TV Tom Vecchio, thank you so much for your time. As always, DRS and I talk a little bit more about the NBA up next.
An impressive debut it was for Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals. He ended up having the most strikeouts of anybody thus far in a Major League Baseball game this season. Buy or sell, George? Mackenzie Gore will be a top 15 fantasy baseball pitcher this season. Top 15. Buy or sell?
You know, these questions are made up by Sam Yarnell, our producer, man behind the glass here. Who's a Washington Nationals fan here? You ever get the feeling that he just made this where you have to say buy, all right? Because top 15? Yeah, I think he'll be top 15. Come on, Sam, make it top 10. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, I think he's got the upside to be that. Once again, he is a good pitcher anyway. Once a top prospect here, you're pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think the upside is there for him to be much better than top 15. Top 5 may be pushing it, but I think he'll be inside the top 10. So, yes, I am all on board the Mackenzie Gore train.
All right, yeah, I think that I am going to buy this too, man. I don't know. He's just, and again, it's not just that one start for me. I think I have the video somewhere. I was like literally sitting behind home plate for one of his starts in Palm Beach, and I was like, wow, like this guy's stuff looks really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think he's a potential Cy Young Award candidate. As George said, you're dealing with bigger markets and bigger names with LA and some of the other teams. Arizona's got some great pitchers too. But I think he's definitely in the mix. And look, do I think he's a top 2 guy? No. Do I think he's a top 15 guy? Yes. I'll buy that. As his season, I think, is going to be a special one for him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
5-game slate around the association tonight in the NBA. Everybody, all 10 teams in action on the hardwood playing game number 80. Then all 30 clubs have just 2 games left over the final 3 days of this regular season. That final weekend starting tomorrow. Quick update, though, in the Masters before we get to the action around the association. Aaron Rai off to a blistering start, DRS. He is 3 under through his opening 7 holes. He is the round 1 leader at this moment by himself. 3 guys behind him, though, at 2 under par, including Jocko. Joaquin Niemann off to a great start. 2 under through 3. Just fired a bullet on the par 3 fourth as well. Another good look for Bird out of Joaquin Niemann. A 33-1 price on Niemann. He had the 3rd best number behind only John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau of the Live 12. The 12 Live golfers in the field this week at Augusta.
Yeah, it'll be fun to get a view and a vantage point on this once we're done here on the show, because it looks like, some of the conditions would be conducive to scoring, but you also have to know this. A lot of these guys get out to those early leads, 4 or 5 holes in. It is a long day at Augusta, and you got to be on your P's and Q's. You miss one green in one bad spot, one tee shot in the pine straw, and it's a wrap for that hole. So I'm interested to see who does well in this tournament. And also, let me just scroll down here. Any big names about to just tee off here? Finau's coming up, what? Probably teeing off right now at this point. But I think we have a little bit of a delay before that afternoon resurgence, right? Yeah.
Yes, some notable names. Max Homa's in there as well. Jordan Spieth, I think, goes off in just a little bit. We'll hunt that down, though. Maybe a little bit later
Rory's
this
late
afternoon.
today, 112. Yeah, he's late.
Where is Spieth? Rory, but at that 1 p.m. Eastern time mark,
Spieth's already out.
You get those
He's
final.
1 under through 4.
Spieth's already out there?
Yeah, birdied his first hole.
Oh, so he just teed off. Jordan Spieth just teed off. Playing some pretty good golf at this moment. Will Zalatoris back to even, as he is even through 7. And some of those big names just got underway. In the marquee group alongside Joaquin Niemann, who is 2 under, Min-Woo Lee and Colin Morikawa also even at this point. Scotty Scheffler playing the second hole as we speak in a group with Justin Thomas. Both guys did make a par on their opening hole here at the 2025 Masters. All right, DRS, to the NBA tonight. Marquee games along this 5-game slate. Really important one, as we shared in Memphis. Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. Right now, Memphis on the right side of that play-in tourney bubble. They are the 6th seed in the Western Conference, but not expected to win tonight. Those odds have flipped. It is the Timberwolves as a minus 130 money line favorite. What's your approach to this Memphis matchup?
Yeah, interesting. 234.5, that opening number. You see that graphic there, 233.5. Now it's down to 232, so that number is dropping. And also the Memphis Grizzlies overnight here in New Jersey opened up as that 1-point favorite, as you see on the graphic. Now we're seeing the Timberwolves -1, and it's high in some outlets, Ben, at 2.5 right now, which may determine who's actually in that starting lineup, where we're getting some of that movement. Looking at the anticipated starting lineups tonight, John Morant, Desmond Bane, Williams, Jackson, and Edey, and then Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, and Gobert here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So usually I like to chase lines as it is, and there's a reason probably why this line for a 9:30 game tonight at 10 to 10:30 in the morning, let's just say, that we're looking at that shift. It must be somebody's getting word that maybe somebody's sitting out. I'll ride with that line movement. I'll take the Timberwolves here at the -1.5 points.
Yeah, DRS, because the projected starting 5 for the Grizz is their regular starting 5. Yeah. Memphis has started to figure things out after the dismissal of head coach Taylor Jenkins to be now in that 6th spot. The Grizzlies, with their win earlier this week, cashing my favorite preseason win total bet over 46.5. They have 47. But again, if the Grizz lose tonight and Minnesota wins alongside Golden State, who lost at the buzzer last night in a game they can ill afford to lose against the shorthanded San Antonio Spurs, all 3 of those teams at 47 and 33, trying to determine who will play in the 7-8 matchup in the play-in tournament on Tuesday night and who will be the 6th seed just immediately into the Western Conference playoffs. Some pretty good theater down the final 3 days or so of this NBA regular season. Not much still at stake for the New York Knicks. They are going to be the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. They've got a 2-game lead over the Pacers, who also play tonight. Technically, they have not locked it up, being the Knicks, but they can't catch the Celtics, of course, for that 2 seed. So New York still with something to play for in a 3.5-point road dog tonight against Detroit. Of course, the Knicks in overtime in a really critical and crucial game on Tuesday night, DRS, came up short against the Boston Celtics, now 0-6, 0-7 this year against the C's and the Cavs, and 0-7 against the spread. How about as an underdog tonight on the road to the Motor City?
Interesting, too, because that line overnight opened up as a 5-point spread and a favorite for the home team, the Detroit Pistons, now dropping to 3.5 live, and also the total, 225.5, actually rising 3 total points now to 228.5. You're down a couple starters in the anticipated starting lineup tonight for the Knicks. Brunson, McBride, Bridges, Achua, and Karl Anthony Towns, and you see the normal starting 5 here for Detroit. But as you said, still something to play for the Knicks. The Pistons, I don't really know how much they can move out. Can the Pistons actually move out of the 6th seed at any point right now? I'm not so they can. So both teams. So we're getting a no and a yes.
Well, they can't fall back. They can catch
they
the
can
Bucks,
move higher.
But that's unlikely. They can't. Yeah. They can't fall back into the play-in tournament, though. I think, which is what Donnie was asking, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So with the drop here at this point, that 3.5, I think I might be buying into the Knicks a little bit right now. Still something to play for at this point. Line dropping from 5 to 3.5. I might take the 3.5 points in this game, but these are so tough to handicap just based on what we're actually going to see out of the starting lineups in a couple hours.
As we said, the Pistons have been booked as a favorite far more often in the second half of this season after the All-Star break than they did early on. Detroit, though, has dropped 4 of its last 5. They haven't played since Monday. Yes, the Pistons can theoretically catch Milwaukee, but they trail the Bucks by 2 games with only 3 games remaining. Milwaukee, a 14.5-point home favorite tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. But Detroit cannot fall in to a play-in tourney spot. The 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that will be in the play-in tournament have already clinched those spots. Just got to figure out some seeding. The Cleveland Cavaliers, big home victory on Tuesday night, DRS against the Bulls, as was anticipated. Because of it, the Cavs have clinched the 1 seed. They're good. They're a 9.5-point road dog tonight in Indianapolis because of it.
Hammer them. 9.5. I think it goes to 10.5 at this point. Double-digit victory for the Pacers tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers, hey, eyes on the prize. It's a championship. Not tonight in Indy. They get beat.
The Pacers could catch the New York Knicks for that 3 spot. Do you want to play the Celtics? Do you want to play the Cavs if you reach the second round? DRS, enjoy the money line. More on the early line up next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith-Shawver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread water, so I think that puts it in a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength, need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The opening round of the 89th playing of the 2025 Masters Tournament now underway. 89th playing of the Masters now in 2025, but you get the gist. And as we shared, a very hot start for Joaquin Niemann. He is 3 under through his opening 4 holes. I'll tell you what I just did with a profit boost on the FanDuel Sportsbook for your round 1 leader. I just bet Niemann at a 9-1 price. Got to maintain this throughout. And of course, we'll see what the afternoon conditions have for many marquee golfers in that afternoon wave. But love the start out of Joaquin Niemann, who has been playing lights out this year on the Live Golf Series and off to a great start today at Augusta. Jordan Spieth, from about 45 feet, buries a birdie on his opening hole at the 2025 Masters. Scotty Scheffler, a birdie on the par 5. Second, he is 1 under early as well. Some really great golf underway and some really idyllic conditions to begin play at the 2025 Masters on this Thursday. Scotty enters as the reigning champ and the favorite at a 4-1 price, hoping to join Jack Nicklaus as the first golfer since the mid-1960s to win 3 green jackets in a 4-year window. The Golden Bear did so in 1963, 65, and 66. Scotty Scheffler hoping to do so in 2022, last year in 2024, and this year in 2025. And make sure you are paying attention, locked into your television screens, starting a little bit after 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Oberg, Akshay Bhatia, 1:12 p.m. Eastern for a great afternoon slate at Augusta to end out the opening round on this Thursday. All of the action we will recap for you to begin round number 2 on Friday morning here on the early line. Exactly 2 weeks from today, the 2025 NFL Draft begins in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Opening night, opening round, round number 1, exactly 2 weeks from now. Let's take a look at the top 10. The Titans still holding that number 1 overall pick, followed by the Browns, Giants, Patriots, and Jags. That rounds out the top 5. The Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, and Bears. That is the top 10 of the opening round of the 2025 NFL Draft. What is incredibly notable about this NFL Draft as of right now, we've shared it a few times. In the modern draft era, since the NFL firmed up its 7-round selection process back in 1994, or when the National Football League added its 32nd franchise back in the early 2000s, this is the only time in the modern history of the draft, basically 3 decades worth of a sample size, that at this stage of the draft process, into the league year that began nearly a month ago, that all 32 NFL clubs have held on to their original first-round selection and still hold that pick. Are we going to see some trades in the next 2 weeks? Might we see a trade on draft night? Maybe. We haven't seen much movement yet in terms of that draft order. Where we have seen the movement is in the draft odds, even to go number 1 overall. Back as we were getting ready for the NFL Combine in late February, Cam Ward, Miami's quarterback, was about -120, -135 to go first overall. We expected him to be that first overall pick, to hear his name called before anybody else in the 2025 NFL Draft. It is now all but confirmed at -20,000 that Cam Ward is going first overall to the Tennessee Titans. That's what we expect to start the NFL Draft 2 weeks from now. In the last 72 to 96 hours or so, we have seen substantial movement in number 2 and number 3 overall. At this time last week, Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State, was a -270 favorite to go second overall. Now it's at a -280 price, but for the Heisman winner in Travis Hunter to go second overall to the Cleveland Browns. Third overall to the New York Giants, Abdul Carter is the favorite at -170. As always, the caveat for betting the NFL Draft, it doesn't have to be the Browns that take Travis Hunter at number 2 overall. Just that Travis Hunter goes second overall in the 2025 NFL Draft. I cannot wait, and I think we'll probably see it here in the next week and a half or so, the over-under for quarterbacks taken in the first round. I think the number is 2.5. I think the under should have some juice, but there's been a lot of conversation and speculation in the last few days that maybe a third quarterback after Cam Ward and wherever Shedeur Sanders is slotted goes in the first round. Is it going to be Jackson Dart, the QB out of Ole Miss? Some speculation around him, or perhaps the quarterback from Alabama in Jalen Milroe, who has accepted an invite to attend the NFL draft in Green Bay. The early line returns tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, here on SportsGrid.